Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mindovermania. My name is Christian, and I'm here to help you keep your head above the chaos. I'm a professional spiritual consultant and tarot reader, and today we are doing a pick a card reading. The topic of our discussion is what's going on with this situation? What do you see versus what is actually happening? This is going to be a general topic, so maybe it's in regards to a relationship with a person. It could be as part of something going on with your work. I'm leaving it open-ended. I haven't really decided what direction the reading is going to go, so you utilize your intuition and try to follow along as we go. There's going to be a bit of a vibe check at the beginning of the reading to assess where you're at, and if something doesn't resonate within your pile, then feel free to pick another one or just figure it's not the right video for you to watch. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 piles today, and how I'd like you to select your pile is I'd like you to put both feet on the ground, and I want you to focus on the question, what's going on in this situation that I would like to have answers from? And please select whichever pile you are feeling drawn towards. Again, this is primarily a reading to help get some clarity on confusion, where you are assessing a situation and trying to determine what is the best course of action to approach it. Anyways, I will see you at your reading. Take care. Hello, pile 1. You have chosen pile 1. And the card that you got was the 10 of Pentacles, okay? And so this is going to be your reading. First, we're going to start off with a bit of a vibe check of trying to figure out, what are you viewing about this situation? And then we're going to pull some cards to see about what is actually happening. I feel like maybe some of you guys were a little confused by the prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give you an energy check of where you are at and what you're looking forward towards. And maybe that will give you a little bit more of a direction of how this reading is going to go. I don't know if you guys are maybe confused in regards to a situationship, a relationship with your boss. Like there's like any number of ways that this reading could go. And I feel like Spirit is trying to tell me that you guys just need to understand the general energy of where you're at, and this is going to play out in multiple different areas of your life. So please be a little open-minded as we approach this, because for some of you guys, this will be a relationship with a coworker. For some of you guys, this may be a romantic partnership or a situationship. I do feel, though, that this is leaning less towards romantic partnerships, or if it is a romantic partnership, it's not very serious. So again, take what resonates, but I have a feeling if you're looking for a romantic reading, it's probably going to be a different pile. And specifically with the 10 of Pentacles, that energy is usually about the ultimate financial abundance, okay? And things coming together. So maybe you guys are really focused on hustling right now. Maybe you are hoping that, a job is going to come through or financial things are going to come through. And so you're trying to check, hey, are my manifestations Delulu? Am I doing the right steps to get to this goal? Am I going to be capable of buying a house? Like there's a lot of this kind of uncertain energy that you guys are going through, and there's a lot of chaos kind of going on. It's almost like you're thinking to yourself, I could get a love reading, or I could be, getting a job reading, or maybe I'm just kind of coasting and I have no idea what I want. If that's the energy you're in right now and looking at your situation, this is the pile for you. It says, let them lie. They don't need our truth. You're mine and mine only. Okay, so that card's kind of telling me that, maybe sometimes you get caught up on other people's self-doubts and insecurities. So say, for example, you went on a mission to go be an entrepreneur, or you're an artist, or you're doing something that your family disapproves of. This is basically Spirit saying, hey, it's okay to kind of release the knowledge and knowing that things are going to be okay, because they are, and specifically just kind of allowing other people's opinions and truths to be their own. Specifically, if you are charting your own course as an entrepreneur or something else, you're going to need to give yourself time to commit to your passions and to understand that you are going to be facing twists and turns. There are going to be risks. There's going to be rewards. There's a lot of this energy of you are stepping out of something that was known before, or you're debating, should I make that leap? And the whole purpose of doing anything like this is that you are in an uncertain state. there is going to be times where it's not going to work out no matter what you did, even if you did everything right. Okay. And it's learning to have the fortitude and the skills to be able to step up and say, I'm going to get back up even though I fall down. You know, you have a lot of strength in you, group one, and there's something about you're not acknowledging that because it's kind of like, okay, maybe this would stress out normal people, but for you, you're like, it's okay. I took a loss. The next win is coming upside the mountain. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good energy to have because it applies to both relationships, financial abundance, and job security in general. You don't have to be scared. I love you too much to allow it. Yeah, this is also kind of more reassurance from spirit and your spirit guide team that, you know, they're not going to let you suffer and fail through this. Now, if you choose to stay in this energy, I mean, like some of you guys, you're feeling really hopeless and lost right now. And, you know, again, maybe you have to change directions. But what I'm feeling from spirit is like when you are afraid and staying in your mind about it and you're not either voicing your concerns to your spirit guides, if you're not creating a better relationship with yourself and abundance and figuring out how do I acquire the resources I need. Like maybe have you guys considered looking for grants? Maybe there are ways of saving money that you haven't explored yet. Are you willing to sacrifice? Maybe I don't get that weekly Starbucks. Some of you guys are kind of like, oh, the Starbucks analogy. But like, here's the thing is like, it's like, okay, try to figure out whatever applies to your situation, right? Because there's something about what's stopping you is looking and anticipating things. Okay, like again, I'll get to the reality of your situation, but I'm just kind of telling you where you're at. You're calm. Oh, you calm my demons. You remind me I'm not a monster inside. Yeah, so maybe some of you guys are really struggling an internal battle. Maybe it's that inner critic. Maybe that like inner demons. Maybe that could apply like to an addiction pattern, or maybe towards a, I don't know, for some reason I was thinking like a person or a version of you that you're not settling with anymore, or yeah, kind of take what resonates, but it's almost like you're calming my demons. Maybe you're trying to seek out someone to reassure you when, you know, some of that needs to come within. Yeah, as I said, there's a little bit of a mixed bag here with whatever's going on. So, as I said, take what resonates. We've got thank you for making amends. Okay. I should have said what I didn't say. And I love you. Yeah, so some of this, I feel like some of you guys, maybe you're going through a financial situation. Maybe you are afraid you're being a financial burden to your friends and family by following your dreams. Like I'm seeing music and whatnot. So maybe you were like, hey, I risked it all to go become a professional musician and now my friends hate me and all this other stuff. Like there's kind of just like this energy of like, you feel like you should have said more, you know, to either certain people before they left, or like there's kind of like a little bit of regret energy to this person or to this job, you know, and it could be just a reflection of yourself, you know. It's almost like maybe you took a leap of faith without fully thinking things through, and so then now you're suddenly going like, oh dang, you know, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation if it weren't for the fact that I just jumped off a cliff recklessly, you know, because, you know, we always talk about taking the leap of faith, but like you can do so a little gracefully, you know what I mean? And then also the I love you card, you know, I feel like you're having a hard time loving yourself authentically through your truth, and specifically loving your own flaws. And you're trying to like anticipate disaster, and you're avoiding disaster by just being like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get that. But like, when are you going to start making decisions that actually show what you're capable of? You know what I mean? Show yourself love by having boundaries and stepping up, you know? Because like I'm almost seeing like your dreams are not a fairy tale, guys. All right. Anyways, though, that's like your current energy. So let's go ahead and get into like, what is the reality of your situation? Again, I don't know if some of you guys, maybe you had big dreams. Maybe you had dreams of having a partner and a family with somebody and they didn't come to fruition. Again, there's a little bit of regret of maybe saying like, man, when I was younger, I could have taken these classes and I'd be in a different financial situation. Or maybe you weren't like being reasonable with your spending habits, or, or there was like some kind of a big change and you had lost control over something or somebody. I don't know, focusing on the reality. I don't know. Some of this too, like maybe there's just been so much change that you're kind of like, at what point does like this resonate, Christian? Because I feel like there could have been any number of things that happened, and so now you're sitting there going like, where do I start? Where do I even begin? Screw it. I do feel like this group has a screw it energy. So now that we're focused on the reality of your situation, we got, I'll wait for you. Don't lose hope, honey. Oh, okay, no. Okay, guys. I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but this is just like reassurance from the universe that the version of you that is waiting for you is always out there ahead of you, waiting for you to complete the tasks you need to get there. You know what I mean? It's like I said, maybe you've always dreamed about being a professional musician. It doesn't matter if you start doing that at 20 or 65. Okay? There's not an age limit to you living your passions and your dreams. Okay? Like, are there going to be limitations? Yeah. I mean, okay, if you're 65, I mean, sure, you're not going to be physically capable of doing the things you would have done in your 20s, but like, there's still time. There is still plenty of time to do that thing that you love, to be that person you want to be, or to get in that relationship that you want. Okay? Something that is meant for you is not going to pass you by. Don't lose hope, especially if you're super passionate about this thing, okay? Because like there's something about like you guys are continuing to grieve the sacrifices and all these other things, and like the reality of the situation is you're not looking hard enough to source and to God for these things. Literally, if you're sitting there going like, okay, I need resources in order to pay my rent right now, ask God what you do. Next thing you know, something's going to come in. You're not asking for enough. You're not preparing your body and your mind and spirit to be walking in line with source at the same time. I choose to learn through love, okay? Love is the whole purpose of it, right? For some of you, being an artist, it doesn't mean starving, but it doesn't mean that you're also not going to experience that either. Every entrepreneur, person who takes a risk, does something that doesn't go on the common trail. You will starve. You will go hungry. You will struggle. But love is what keeps you going, right? And it doesn't mean you're never going to be successful. Now, maybe you got to change up how you do things. That's an obvious, truth bomb for some of you. But if you love it, then why are you letting that go? Why are you trying to fight that? Okay, if it's in your frequency to spread love to other people and joy and happiness, you don't have to have a career to do that. You can go out and show up to your local event. You can go to a church. You can go to a homeless shelter. You could join an organization. Heck, you can come on my live streams and talk to people. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do to connect to love and something you're passionate about, that's what's important. Okay, that is ultimately what's important here. Sorry, guys, the camera's doing a little bit of a thing. All right, so the next card we got is, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. Yeah, some of you guys, you're not meditating enough. You're not, like, accessing the wealth of knowledge that you have within yourself. Some of you guys are very educated and smart, and you're just not using it. The reality of your situation is you can get out of this at any point in time when you start tapping into what you already got. Don't question it, just do it. If you sit there and say, okay, I need to start working on my mental health, okay? I am going to make sure that I'm watching only positive videos. Every time I trigger myself or do something, I'm going to pause and take care of it. If I want to be happier, I'm going to start including things in my life every single day that make me happy, even if it's me doing a little song and dance every morning to wake myself up. Whatever you got to do, the reality is you have control of the situation, and everything that you are asking for right now is possible. I literally mean everything. And I don't want to be like that Debbie Downer person that's always like on you guys. It's like, it almost feels like you keep saying it's not going to happen. And that's what you're manifesting, is it's like, yeah, you just said it can't happen, so it's not going to happen. And even then, God's just being like, no, we're going to show you it can happen. We're going to give you tastes of it and pieces of it, but you got to make the choice to let go of that negative side, okay? And stay positive and stay true to yourself. Like, again, like if you're going through a homelessness struggle right now, I mean, obviously, it's very difficult to stay positive, but by staying positive, that can literally look like, I'm sad, but I'm going to keep applying for jobs anyway. You know what I mean? That in itself is very positive. All right. I left a piece of me in you. Do you still feel my presence? Yeah, some of you guys, maybe you got let go of a family, of a partnership. Maybe there was a death in the family. There was some kind of a release, and I feel like you're causing your own turmoil because this version of you that you had and knew of yourself in the past is gone. Okay, and the reality is that piece of you is still inside of you. Okay, your current situation is you are pining and manifesting a piece of you back that you thought you lost in some situation that you still have inside of you. You just lost access to it because it's in pain and it's hurt. And honestly, this piece of you, this lack, this pain, this wound, I'm even feeling the fire in my heart space. I'm like, when you realize that's inside of you the whole time, it never left you. That version of you still is there. It completes the whole cycle. This version of you is tied to your financial abundance and success. Do you still feel my presence? Yeah, some of you guys, you're chasing ghosts. You're chasing ghosts of yourself. And I think that's what you need to let go, because maybe some of you guys are like, oh, well, I'm really concerned about a financial situation, a romantic partnership situation. Maybe I'm, mourning the loss of somebody, or you're looking for somebody to rescue you. And it's like, listen, you're still in there. And you need to start asking yourself those questions and then look externally. Because the fact that you're not asking yourself first, that's like where the first step needs to come in, is saying like, okay, the reality of my situation is I don't have control over the economy. I don't have control over clients, because yes, I can do a lot of work to manifest people, but that's not going to cut it, okay? Because there are going to be down periods, okay? There's nothing in life that's going to be smooth sailing all the time. And especially if you're anticipating it, then you can make predictions. They're not always going to come true, but you can prepare for it. All right. And that's also part of being a good entrepreneur. And again, for those of you that aren't entrepreneurs, this is just basic life skills. You know what I mean? It's learning to save for the winter. You know what I mean? Putting savings into your bank account, paying off your debts, like doing all that basic self-care stuff. The reality of your situation is whatever it is, like even if you're in debt, even if there's whatever, maybe you got to take an extra job. Maybe you got to work longer hours. Maybe you got to start eating healthier so you can breathe again and start like being here, because something about you guys being checked out, that's not cutting it anymore, okay? Get a little more clear on your decision making. I couldn't get any so basically the way I was supposed to read it is it couldn't get any harder if I tried. And this normally is a sexual card, but the way I'm interpreting it is basically you just feel like you're hitting this wall and everything's impossible. And, I don't think things can get much more difficult than this. And I was like, actually, they can. And they will if you don't start, re-accessing this piece of you. Because some of you guys, you're in a precarious situation and you have the tools and resources to get out of it, but you are still sabotaging this relationship with yourself because you don't know how to connect to it anymore. So please do your meditations, do your prayers, and again, keep asking the universe. I don't care how silly it is. Literally be like, hey, if I need a lamp right now, ask for a lamp. Boom, there, you got one. Okay? Maybe it's something you already had and you just never thought to use it. I mean, that's abundance right there, I forgot how much you made me feel. It's too much to feel at once. Yeah, I feel like the reality of your situation is you're very much caught in your feelings and your emotions, and you're trapped there rather than focusing on making big decisions. Okay, so maybe you guys are forced to leave a job situation, a place that you've been living for a while. Maybe something is coming your way that it's too hard for you to manage and deal with on your own. Spirit is basically saying it's going to wait for you. Just believe that you're going to get through this. This financial turmoil and situation is not going to last if you make the right decisions to move forward. All right. Connect to your higher self. Connect to your spirit guides. Do the work. Stop self-sabotaging. And go get your bag. Go make it happen. You guys are so great. Okay? Like, seriously, you've got a lot of abundance coming your way. There's a lot of choices you still need to make and decisions, but ultimately, you have your own truth inside of you, okay? You got this, guys. Keep breathing. keep seeing the truth and move forward with that halo on your head, okay? Because you're gonna get out of this, all right? Just don't stay stuck here, okay? Don't stay stuck. Keep making great financial decisions and make progress towards whatever dream you're working on, because that's gonna manifest first and foremost, and it's gonna bring you a lot of happiness if you do it, okay? All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your energy and time watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you would like more content and to help support my channel. If you're interested in booking a personal reading with me, please check out the link in the description below. Anywho, like and comment down below. Tell me how you resonate with this reading, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Hello everyone, you have chosen group number 2, and this card is the Justice card in reverse. Okay, so some of you guys, I can tell you right off the bat, this is definitely either a social justice focused group or someone who has a really strong, intense moral standpoint in grounding. So, as I said with the first reading, I don't have a particular situation in mind. However, I feel like maybe you guys are thinking about something maybe more big picture, or just in general, how you're observing this person and how these dynamics are playing out between you and them. I do feel like this will apply to relationships, but they're not necessarily romantic. So we're going to go ahead and check in on your energy of what you're seeing right now, and then what is the reality of the situation. As I said, I think like because of the standpoint that you guys are very disconnected from the macro level or the micro level, and you want to be focused on the big picture, or it's almost like, you know, say for example, you're like trying to date, but you can't ignore the fact that there's a lot of social injustices going on. You know, that the fact that there are people that are financially struggling, gender roles, like, oh, men and women are doing blah, blah, blah. It's all hopeless. You know, I think there's a lot of this like inner conflict because you guys are very tuned in and aware. It could be also you're very psychically aware. So even if you don't care about the social justice stuff, it could be because you are so close to spirit, you have a hard time detaching emotionally from the situation and looking at it from the 3D perspective, okay? And kind of like grounding your energy into what's actually occurring. I feel like how you are perceiving this situation is like, well, people need to be stopped. Maybe this person has gone on and done some harmful things in your life and the lives of other people. You know, only take what resonates, but there's definitely just kind of a connection to the bigger picture, and you are finding yourself alone, or you're fretting, or you're just kind of this loneliness in the sense of, why aren't other people treating me the way I choose to be treated? There's just a lack of boundaries on other people's behalf, and you're kind of sitting there going like, what have I done wrong that you guys keep thinking you can come up and mess with me? You know, there's definitely a lot of this like, not like, why does the world hate me? You guys aren't that far, but it's still the same kind of energy of like, man, like I just can't get a break. Okay, so here's some of the stuff you're seeing in this situation. I don't want to see you with anyone else. I know you need them, but it's not as much as I need you. Yeah, there's definitely like a codependency thing going on. So again, take what resonates, because this can apply to a job situation as well. But there's almost like you guys are kind of in a needy situation where it's like, I need to make sure that this person is doing XYZ in order to be my best friend or my boyfriend or my spouse, potential partner, or like, I don't want to see you with anybody else. It's very like territorial and kind of clingy type energy. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys pretend like you don't need people. I don't think it's a pretend. I think it's just something that you guys are honestly being like, I don't need anybody. Like, I genuinely can do all of this by myself, especially like this big picture change stuff. You're kind of like sitting there, like you're talking about it, but there's not a lot of action, you know, in terms of like either financial or, you know, getting organized or things like that. There's a lot of talk, but not a lot of walking going on here. We've got music, art. Men have no medium to properly describe and capture your glory. Yeah, this definitely is a group that romanticizes people and things. This is very much an idealism type energy of being like, oh, well, if we did XYZ, then the world would be perfect. And you're like, well, Christian, I wouldn't say that I feel the world would be perfect. And I'm like, yeah, but you have that energy of it. right? Because it's like right now you're kind of like getting frustrated in the grocery store when the cashier can't even do XYZ on their cash register, right? Like this is definitely like an impatient energy of being like, hey, I'm just trying to watch this reading to validate my perspective instead of recognizing that, hey, there are other perspectives out there that are not getting through to you because of this idealism with the world. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like some of this reading you guys are not even going to accept because it's kind of like, I feel like maybe you've either seen me on live streams or you've heard me talk before and you kind of don't take it in or you don't take it in stride. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's something about this pile where you think you've got all the answers and you try to justify it saying, well, actually I don't, but it's like, yes, but the energy you have is your ego talking. Because if you didn't think that you had all the answers, then you'd be a little bit more receptive when other people talk about things. Or you wouldn't be like, yeah, okay, now here's my point, right? We've got you blow my mind. Insert something a little bit more sexual here. There's some stuff in the fine print that you can go ahead and read if you want to. But specifically, there's something about this group of folks. You guys are very smart. And I feel like, again, it's not to rag on you. I just feel like there's a lot of priority on the mind space and the mental processing of what's going on in this situation. So again, like say, for example, this is a relationship, right? And this person is like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. You blow my mind. And there's like little hearts and stuff. And then you're like, yes. You know what I mean? Like there's kind of just like this kind of dismissive, detached way of approaching this situation. So it could be in your relationships, you could have had like a childhood trauma or something, and you're kind of seeing the situation from the lens of like, oh my gosh, everyone loves hearing me talk about this. Da 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 da. Yeah, this is kind of what you're perceiving other people feel about your behavior, right? Is that you're anticipating, oh, well, when I give them this advice or when I talk to them this way, they're going to appreciate it, right? Like that's what you're anticipating. You're thinking like, well, I am very kind and considerate and I can talk about these things with this person. So that means that they're comfortable with it, right? And there's just a little bit of lack of social awareness here. In regards to either certain topics or like say for example if someone says, hey, I'm traumatized, then maybe don't bring up certain types of trauma. You know what I mean? Like don't continue, like for example, like if you're talking to women, don't talk about rape trauma all the time. Don't talk about women's issues without having a little bit more grounded perception of being like, do you think this person who's actually lived that experience wants to talk about that right now? Especially if they're trying to talk to you about and open up about another situation, just kind of take what resonates. But, this is like, again, the whole judgment thing is basically saying like, hey, there is justice that needs to be done, but like, you're not responsible for that. I'm going through my life review. So some of you guys, I feel like maybe you are changing priorities. You were going through a bit of a test to see what is most actually valuable to you. And so maybe part of why you came to this reading was to say, hey, all right, am I evaluating this relationship properly? Am I like doing the right career choice? Am I using my money effectively? Right. And I mean, we'll get into that with the what is your reality portion of this. But I'm going through my life review. I feel like that's important for you right now. I think that's a great place to be at. And you're still kind of struggling to see like, am I looking at my life from the right lens? I don't know. Like I said, you guys kind of are like questioning things, but you're losing track of what the question is. You will get through this, okay? Yeah, so this is kind of you sitting there being like, all right, well, the way I perceive this situation, regardless of what happens, I'm going to make it through, okay? So you're just kind of like, I'm going to focus on my money. I'm going to focus on like the earthly material things that I do have control over and try to either manipulate things into my favor or just try to go with the flow. You know what I mean? It's kind of a mixed bag how you guys are reacting to your current situation. And again, if this is a relationship that you're thinking of, you're kind of like, okay, you're kind of in survival mode with this person, but you're just like, you know what? It's going to work itself out. That's kind of where you're at. Okay, we've got obstacles or detours in the right direction. Yeah, so some of you guys, you get really, really stressed out when things don't go your way. And you're really not good at adjusting to detours. It's kind of like, okay, hey, this particular situation didn't work out. Instead of like, you know, grieving about it, moving on, and making another decision, it's like it takes you months to get back on your feet again. And, again, this could be due to your own mental limitations, or maybe there's something going on in your life where you just can't uh, bounce back like you used to. But there is something that to be said here about saying, "Hey, I'm kind of have a harder time and a more difficult time bouncing back than I used to be, and I really don't like change, and I'm having a hard time managing it." And then finally, in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me right-minded thinking and the energy of love. Yeah, so I feel like you guys are, regardless of if it's a romantic relationship you're focusing on or not, I think you guys are trying to bring love back into your life in general, just to open you up. Again, that I need you energy. It's definitely like you don't like your own neediness, and I think you're aware of it, or it's like there's kind of like it's almost like a looking down your nose at people who need things. Almost like, all right, well, you're being a child or you're being whatever. And it's like, everybody has needs, bro. And I think you are definitely difficult on yourself whenever you have needs, right? Where it's like, listen, if you're sitting there going like, I don't have enough time in the day to do something, that just means you need to ask for help. But something about this group is very much like, yeah, I believe I'm Superman and can save the whole world, but then I don't ever ask for help. How does that make any sense? You know what I mean? Superman is one guy, but there's a whole reason why he's got the Justice League, and you guys are literally, what is it, from the boys being home. I wouldn't say Homelander because that's an extreme example, but literally Homelander is just like, I'm running this show and I'm going to do everything myself. And it's kind of like the difference between Superman and Homelander. Superman works with his team. He knows his team. He can rely on them because he's chosen them and he's worked with them. And he's also resigned to the fact that he can't be everywhere at once. So sometimes you got to trust and understand that there are other people capable of taking care of this than you. So specifically back to this relationship dynamic of you and either this coworker or this love interest, this person is fully functionally capable of taking care of themselves. They just may be choosing not to. And you are kind of just looking at them like they're helpless. Okay. So anyways, though, this is kind of what you are seeing, right? I did kind of get into the reality a little bit, but I think it's also kind of like you kind of needed to see the comparison of back and forth of what's actually happening in terms of like how you're kind of either addressing these situations or this relationship. All right, so let's go ahead and let's ask Spirit, what is the reality of your situation? Like, what is it that, what's different from what you're seeing and what's actually the same? You know what I mean? It's kind of like what's coming next? What is what you're seeing, what you're actually believing, I feel like you guys, you're definitely like seeing is believing, and someone's got to work for it to prove it to me. And it's like, guys, like just calm down, man. Like let the man do his magic trick and then have fun and laugh with it, It's almost like, I don't know if it was this person's upbringing or your upbringing or this other person's, because like, again, this might also be the energy of the person you're inquiring about. So, take what resonates there. Because some of you guys, like, so for example, if what I was talking about earlier, that energy sounded like the person you're asking about, you guys are definitely kind of enmeshed, and, there's something about responsibilities that are being twisted and misconstrued. So like maybe, for example, so getting into the reality of the situation, I'm almost feeling like all that toxic talk that I just said in the first half of this reading, it's almost like it's flipped on its head when it comes to the reality of your situation with this person or with this environment. Because it's like all that stuff's going on in your head, or it's what this other person is doing and keeping you trapped in this loop. So we've got patience was reversed, okay? And we've got like the turtle here. We're like, oh my gosh, everything's going at a snail's pace. The reality is you need to let go of your impatience. Wow. You need to let go of being impatient when it comes to getting the justice that you're observing, and understanding that, your words have impact and power, but you don't control the weather with them. You know what I mean? It's like you can sit there and make demands out of a person and talk until the cows come home, but nothing's going to change. okay? Because a lot of this is just talk, or this person just talks a lot. And so, like, if you are the opposite person on the receiving end of this, just be receptive to a certain degree, but you can't staying around a person that's like this for too long without eventually telling them, hey, no offense, but I have my own mind. I have my own way of thinking and processing stuff. And if you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. However, I'm not going to post time and energy into my space to allow you to be here. All right, we've got destruction. Okay, so the reality is there's something about the way you're observing things. I know the animal that's associated with this card is the owl. So if that stands out to you for some reason, take what resonates. But specifically, it's almost like you're anticipating the destruction of something. And it's not, the reality is, it's not like you're not observing destruction. I think there is a process to it. However, I think like what your spirit guide team is trying to say is it's triggering you because you're watching it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like if you watched videos of 9/11 over and over and over again, or bad things on TV, yeah, you're going to be very hyper vigilant about stuff. When you kind of let go and focus on like, well, what's going on in your neighborhood? It's like, yeah, like you can detach a little bit, and there needs to be a little bit of a healthier balance in terms of what you're receiving and putting energy into your life. So, like, for example, if you take time to sit and reflect on gratitude or all the wonderful things that happened today. Like maybe, for example, you went and you had a cup of tea today. Well, guess what? The fact that you are able to have tea to drink at any point in time, you can go to the grocery store and get that. That's a huge blessing. All right, you are probably getting tea leaves from the other side of the world. There's a lot of great things that are going on that are mundane that you take for granted every day. And so, like, focusing on what you see is what's shaping your reality. Some of you guys might have vision trouble as well, because it's almost like there's a reluctance to physically see what is happening in front of you because it scares you. Okay? There's some kind of a subconscious fear that, okay, I saw that one bad thing that happened at one point in time in my life. I'm afraid of seeing it again. So I'm going to see it everywhere else in its own micro little ways, instead of like retraining your brain and body to focus on what's actually good for you. We've got the universe, okay? So the reality is the universe has your back, all right? And you need to be careful about trying to, like notice on this thing, there's like all these strings attached to the world, right? Maybe some of you guys are really into string theory or philosophy or all these high level concepts. And specifically, it's almost like you guys are really addicted to the idea of you can control and manifest things, when you have less control than you're believing. And I think you just need to really watch how you talk to yourself about your relationship with the universe because of this. Now, what's interesting, we've got the moon here that's kind of moving in the way of the earth. So it's almost like maybe an eclipse. Maybe some things have happened during this most recent eclipse in Pisces, or maybe, there's something about the way that you're trying to eclipse the whole picture of the world, and instead you're only focused on what's blocked out for you. So taking the time to really like ground yourself and just accept there are things and concepts you will not understand. This person or other people are going to be beyond your comprehension until you look at your own blind spots, and accept that sometimes you will always have blind spots. All right? And when I'm saying it, like, don't come into arguments saying, well, I know that I have blind spots. It's like, no, you don't. Because if you integrated that mindset into your arguments and how you're talking to people, then you wouldn't be sitting there listening to people that way or talking to people that way. You need to listen to people. You're hearing them. We've got wedding rings, union, wedding, married, everlasting promise. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, geez. Yeah. So, for example, we've got wedding rings, karmic relationship, triggers, turmoil, resentment, and then engagement ring, engagement, partnership, commitment, internal union. Yeah. So, for those of you guys that this is about a romantic partnership, you guys are waiting for marriage. You guys are trying to like manifest the perfect marriage and the perfect scenario. Maybe you have someone picked out, or maybe you're so focused on that engagement ring and I'm in that wedding. And it's like, literally, you guys don't even have a plan on how to get it with this person and how to get it in general. And there's like a little bit of like, you got this gavel almost, with the judgment card about how you're going to judge people that you need to marry and things like that. And like, I don't know, maybe you're very conservative or traditional, or this person's very conservative and traditional. And to me, I'm like, do you want to be married to somebody like this? Because I'm sorry, like this energy, people really don't want to commit to somebody like that because it kind of feels like, yeah, okay, maybe there's financial security and stability here, but like the reality is, I don't see people wanting to settle down and have healthy relationships with this energy because it's kind of out of balance. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get married to somebody who's gonna spend all their time reading books and telling me how smart they are. You know what I mean? Or why do I want to work with somebody as a business partner when they think they're always right? You know, why do I want to put my time and energy and commit to a company or a career when I'm constantly told what I need to do and can't do? You know, and if you're that person, I want you to kind of listen to that message and feel that if that's how you're coming across to people, you're not going to get the same investment back that you're asking for. And I think a lot of it's just people don't tell you this stuff. I really don't feel like they do because they usually just move on or move away. I see all that you do for others, right? I feel like this group really. The catch 22 with this group is you guys do a lot of either charity work, you're helpful, you're hardworking, and you do have a really great sense of morality, right? It's not like you're bad people or anything. But it's almost like I see all that you do for others. And I think you're very much concerned with other people knowing that you do good things. Like it's almost like you have to interject it like, oh wow, I gave a speech to an audience of like 1,000 people and I helped all these people. It makes me feel really good and blah blah blah. And you're like, it's almost like this subconscious being like, see me, see me, see me. Okay. And like it's like, okay, great. But like in a partnership, whether it like I said, it's either coworker or romantic relationship, like nobody freaking cares after a certain point. It's like, okay, do you want a cookie? You know, do you want a cookie? Like, can we talk like adults now? It's almost like there might be a wound from childhood here as well. Like the reality is you're not being received the same way as people are seeing you. Like remember like the whole card that I said with like the you blow my mind with the hearts. All right. There's stuff that you're saying to people that you think is revolutionary to them and like you've got a special secret sauce when other people are like, yeah, I learned about that a long time ago. And we appreciate you verbalizing this, but it comes across as condescending. And again, maybe just kind of reflecting on learning some different social skills, because especially too, if you've grown up in certain kinds of environments, this type of behavior is normalized. But like I think when you get out of those circles, when you're talking down to somebody, it comes across as belittling. When especially when someone's saying, hey, I don't want to like have an intellectual discussion, I want to actually like talk about thoughts and emotions, and you just continue to intellectualize everything, or talk about you, that isn't the best approach. Okay. And then how can I help you? Yeah. The reality is you don't need to help people. Okay. You guys have taken on a burden of helping people or needing to help people when that's not your job. And specifically like especially with like these work situations, it's almost kind of like people are like, okay, like I want to support you in your career, but like you need to help yourself first, and you're either stalling on your own personal projects, but then you're immediately like, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to go talk to this person, or I'm going to go and you know, help the homeless person on the street, meanwhile there's stuff going on at home that you're not taking care of. You know what I mean? There's kind of like you need to have a little bit more balance and boundaries so that way you can look at your reality the way it is, you know, because the reality is there's stuff you're neglecting, you know, because you're trying to be helpful, but it's actually self-sabotaging and you're not acknowledging that. I'm sorry I criticized you. Yeah, some of you guys, like, I think you just got to apologize to some people. Maybe like there's a person that you haven't talked to in a hot minute and maybe you didn't realize you criticize them, or maybe if like say for example you were having a conversation and you kind of noticed that their energy changed, maybe kind of talk to them about it and be willing to be open to criticism about maybe something that you said, or be willing to apologize, because like I do feel like with this group you guys are super inclined to help others, and that is the piece that I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying like how you help people is super important. You might want to check out one of my other pick a card readings about like how do I love someone through this. I definitely recommend this pile. Check out that reading, because you guys are the group of people that, you know, you are smart, you are talented, there are things you want to do and you want to manifest, but it's definitely not coming through due to your own self-sabotage. So anyways, though, guys, thank you so much for sitting through the reading. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys' honesty too, because the one thing I do love about people like you guys is you guys do tell the truth the way that you see it. And sometimes, that takes a level of bravery and honesty. So you're just kind of getting it back a little bit tonight. Anyways, though, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for sitting and listening to me yammer on. If you're interested in purchasing a reading, please check out the link in my bio in the description down below. And, comment about your group and let me know how the reading went if this resonates. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I will see you all next time. Take care. Hello, everybody. It is pile number 3. You got the 9 of Wands, and today we're going to be exploring how do you see the situation and how is the reality of the situation playing out. Okay, so up until this point, it's been pretty general. I know the previous 2 groups were definitely general. They could have applied to relationships and romantic. However, I do feel this group is definitely going to be leaning more towards the romance, okay? I don't know if you guys have been going through something lately. Maybe you're just doing a checking in. It's going to kind of cover a variety of romantic situations. But I feel like, could this apply to a coworker? Maybe. Maybe you didn't know that they had feelings for you. We don't really know with this one. So I'd say, sit tight, go through the energy check, and then create a conclusion from there. Because again, even if it is not a romantic situation, I do feel the energies of whatever's happening in this reading are for you. Yeah, so let's go ahead and touch base. Again, with the 9 of Wands, you guys are approaching a conclusion to something. Maybe you guys concluded a relationship, or maybe you're in the process of self-developing and learning to use your voice to stand up in certain kinds of situations. Or maybe in terms of a romantic partnership or a relationship, you're kind of used to getting answers from everybody else about how to approach the situation, but you're not listening to your intuition. Take what resonates, but there's kind of like either a codependent energy or a lack of clarity in terms of how you're supposed to approach the situation, which is probably why you consult with tarot a lot. Or maybe you just don't know what you don't know. Okay? There's definitely kind of this energy of you don't know what you don't know. So let's just see what Kristen has to say. You know what I mean? Oh, and you got a bunch of cards here too. So I'll try to wrap this up and make it quick. We've got share wisdom, okay? So you guys' energy, or at least how you are observing the situation, is either you're talking to other people about this situation with this particular relationship. Maybe you're talking to a spouse about it. Maybe you're talking to a parent. Maybe you're talking to others, so that way you can kind of get your voice out. With these badgers and the roots and whatnot, I kind of see you being I'm so frustrated with the situation. I just want to tell this person my truth, or you feel like you're kind of screaming out into the void and no one's taking you seriously, or this person's not listening to you. Take what resonates, but I definitely feel like there's a need to share what's happening in your situation, and you guys have not been able to release it in a way that's satisfying to you. Because even if you talk about it with your friends, it's almost like you're talking and talking, but nothing's changing. You don't feel better. The person on the receiving end's oh my God, please stop talking about this person. Or maybe you're just in this space where it's not going away. The issue's not going away. We've got the Sword and the Rose, clarity, truth, revelation. Yeah, there's some kind of a truth that needs to be revealed about what's going on between you and this person. And you're just not satisfied with the way things are right now. We've got the Hand of Cards. Take a risk. Be strategic. Options, not showing hand, gambling. Maybe one of the other previous piles in this reading resonates with you, because there is something about taking a risk that you need to acknowledge about this situation with this person. And so maybe one of the previous 2 readings might resonate with you. Yeah, take what resonates, but there's something that you're missing that may be in another pile. Okay, for some of you. Or for example, with this Hand of Cards, it's almost like you're constantly being it's like doing a tarot reading and being I didn't like that answer. Let me pull out another card. I didn't like that answer. Pull another card. Okay, some of you guys, it's even if we gave you the answer, you're still gonna avoid it and ignore it anyway. And here's the thing, be honest if this is you. Be honest if this is you. It's okay. It's spirit. We're all here for a good time, right? You know, this is for entertainment purposes only. But I miss our morning coffee, right? Yeah, so I definitely feel like maybe you're missing somebody. You're longing to get to know somebody, or there's just something about like you're missing the little things about this situation or the way things used to be, or the way things should be. You're sitting there going like, you know, I could be sitting here having coffee with my spouse, but he decided that he was going to run off and cheat on me with another younger girl, you know, or maybe your potential girlfriend is, you know, doing OnlyFans and you're sitting there just going like, yep, I can't compromise on something like that. You know what I mean? If she wants to go be a hoe, good riddance, you know? It's like, it's kind of like, again, it's a little messy, some of you guys' situations. I don't think this applies to everybody. But there is some kind of an energy of like you're longing for the nostalgia of the simplicity in this connection or in this situation. I was wrong and I'm sorry. Yeah, some of you guys, maybe you made the mistake. For some of you guys, you're waiting on the mistake to come out from someone else, or you're also waiting for the apology. I see you guys sitting there being like, I feel like this person might want to apologize to me, but I'm not really sure. I feel like you guys at least are better at owning your side of the situation than the other person. And maybe you're kind of questioning yourself to be like, was I in the wrong? Did I mess this up? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the truth is of the situation. Time nor death would separate our love. It's long lasting. Yeah, so for some of you guys, you know, you may have experienced a heartfelt truth after the death of somebody recently or in the past. I don't know. This is definitely like maybe you had a very strong connection with a person in your past that you're still trying to reconcile what happened to them or what's happening to this person going forward. There was some kind of a death energy. So maybe it's the death of a relationship, a spouse, a partner, divorce. And it's the conflict between like, is this long lasting or not? You know, I feel like this reading is a little too general for some of the specifics. So understand that if it feels like it's not fully resonating with you, I think that's intentional because there's a lot of different topics this could go to. I would only let you go so I could make sure you're safe. I love you more than pride. Yeah, I think you guys are feeling in terms of this romantic partnership that this person walked away because of maybe you felt that they loved you too much. Maybe there was another conflict going on. Maybe there was a mistake made. You know, the I love you more than pride. I feel like you guys are perceiving this other person as someone who does truly care about you. I don't know if you've gotten readings enough to kind of confirm that. And you're still just checking on your Delulu, or you're kind of just like this, I want to make sure you're safe. I think you guys are also checking in on this person because they've left you worried. And you're kind of wondering like what happened? Like what is going on with this person? Why aren't they talking to me? Why can't I share my truth? Why can't I get out of this? You know, and safety may have been an issue in the past, or maybe someone's doing something harmful to themselves or others, you know? I want to watch the rain fall on your body. Okay, so there might be a little bit of spicy element to this. Yeah, but there's definitely kind of an energy of maybe you guys are really sensual or sensitive. And so you're kind of being like, I can already energetically read this person, Christian, get to my reading, you know, like I know how I feel. I know it's the truth. So I feel like with this pile, regardless of if it's romantic or if it's whatever, I feel like you guys are very convinced that you know what the reality of your situation is. Okay, you guys are very convinced on that. And then specifically with this like very sensual rain falling on your body, you know, I don't want to say it's a romanticized energy. It just feels so like cleansing and intimate, you know? Yeah, I feel like you guys you're searching for intimacy, and whoever this person is or this situation, it causes you to connect to that and connect back to yourself. So okay, you know, take what resonates. This may be a little bit of a longer explanation just because we've got multiple energies in here, but I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible since this is going to entertain a couple different big picture energies. And, you know, if you are finding yourself in a situation where you'd like more clarity, please feel free to book a reading about your personal situation, because there may be something in this reading that will be confirmation to you to go ahead and either reach out to somebody or take action. I don't know what you guys are going to do, but I feel like after watching this reading, you're gonna have a little more clarity to understand why things are not moving the way you want them to. Okay, let's go ahead and get some cards. What is the reality of your situation with this person, with your significant other? It's the reality. So I feel like the reality is you guys have different choices. Now, again, it's going to depend on which pile you choose. I don't know. All right, so it's almost like what I'm kind of getting the vibe, guys, is it's almost like this is going to end up being a reading within a reading. So you're going to have to, once again, do another pick a card. So this will be a little bit longer, but we've got 3 choices here. All right, so we're going to say this is pile 1, this is pile 2, and this is pile 3. Pause the video. Really connect to your heart space and allow your heart to guide you to the truth, okay? Because your heart is ultimately is going to be the one that guides you there. And some of you guys are used to like doing these pick a card readings and you just automatically flip through. You need to connect to your heart space, okay? Because since you are doing this yourself with your intuition, intuitively speaking, your heart's going to give you the biggest pull towards what is going to be the reality of your situation, okay? So we've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Okay? All right, so pile 1, thank you for taking the time to sit and listen to me talk. The reality of your situation is as follows. Oh, that was so funny. I don't know if you guys saw that. So literally, I was like, okay, this started off with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and it just kept spinning back upright. And I was like, but it's almost like with you guys' situation, group 3, subpile 1, it's almost like things are going to turn in your favor at the last minute, or it's just looking like it's going the opposite way when really it's moving in a better direction. So maybe you guys had a breakup with somebody and you're going like, man, I shouldn't have broken up with them. I made my mistakes and this was my fault. And I should have known better. You know, it's almost like I shoulda, woulda, coulda. And this energy is being like, yeah, no, you should have broken up with them. You should have left them behind. You know what I mean? Like, there's kind of like this energy of being like, hey, the reality is, you were not supposed to stay around that long in that frequency. Okay? It's almost like you just got to be careful about how you're approaching these tarot readings and about this psychic connection with this person. Because it's almost kind of like, hey, if this person really wanted to be in your life, they'd be taking action and doing so. Okay? And there's something about you guys are a little bit in denial of what's actually going on here. I know this isn't fair. I live my life through you and boat. Receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, closure issues. Yeah, a lot of it is you guys are just struggling with closure issues. Because this person wasn't meant to be in your life this long. And again, I almost feel like, but it's psychic. But it's like, we've got this connection. It's beautiful and whatever. I'm like, guys, I don't think you understand. Like, you can psychically have a connection with someone and they can still manipulate you. Okay? You need to stop trusting tarot readers telling you what's going on and start listening to yourself. And back off from the situation for a little bit. I lived my life through you. A lot of you guys were sitting in this whole energy of like just watching and romanticizing and fantasizing. And you were projecting onto this romantic partner. And that's how you were living your life. You wanted their life. You didn't want them. And you're not stepping in your power to go get that life. That's what your spirit guides are saying. They're like, okay, you got rid of the man. You got rid of the girl. You saw what you wanted or what you want in a future partner. Now let it go. Spin the wheel. Sometimes you're gonna lose, sometimes you're gonna do great. But guess what? That's why it's the Wheel of Fortune! Bling, 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 bling. And I know it's not fair. I know we really wanted that person, that jerk, to become our knight in shining armor, but that wasn't his job. His job was to teach you to be doing it for yourself. Okay. Anyways, though, guys, that was your Subpile 1 reading. I'm sorry I had to be the one to deliver it to you, but like I said, oh, it was psychic. No. There's nothing psychic about that connection. Okay. I don't care how spiritual he was. I don't care what he said to you remotely, telepathically, from the sky. I don't care what that tarot reader told you. No. You received signs and warnings about this person. This should not be a surprise to you when the truth came out, because you were already told and warned, but you still made choices to go towards them anyway. So, anyways, though, that was your pile 1. Pile number 2. Whew! Whew! Oh my goodness. Whew! This pile is so steamy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is my horny pile. Wow. Okay, this energy, I'm hot and bothered. The reality of your situation is there's a lot of suppressed sexual context between you two. Again, there is one thing on this person's mind and one thing only. And I mean, I shouldn't say one thing only, but there is definitely a lot of mutual badoinka doink. We've got the 4 of Wands. Okay, we've got Ascending, Transcendent, Obstacle, Learning, Expansion, New Face, Expanding. Yeah, I think the reality of the situation is you're not understanding how the sexual chemistry between the two of you is impacting this relationship. Like, this is some chemistry, man. And I think, like, the reality of your situation is you need to go get laid. Or there's something about this person that really ignites a fire in you that you need to pay attention to. Okay? Because it's almost like whatever's going on between you and this person, I don't want to say they're, like, helping you unlock the beast or whatever, but, like, specifically there's some piece of this relationship with this person that's causing you to understand your true sexuality and the nature of what's going on with your body. And I think that's an important lesson for you. And I think the reality of what you're going through and what's actually happening versus what you're seeing is you're going through your own sexual awakening. And that's what this person's doing. So maybe, for example, like, okay, maybe they weren't spouse material. Maybe they weren't there for financial gain or whatever. Or maybe, like, something happened where you're like, oh, that guy was broke or whatever. But he sure as heck opened you up. She sure as heck helped you see the light. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about the standards really changed with this person. And I think the reality is, like, you gotta take what resonates, but you gotta separate from the sexuality thing, because of the standpoint that, like, okay, just because you got really great chemistry with someone does not mean they'd make a great spouse. But you're also in the energy of being like, this is important that you got taught this. Okay. And that's why you kind of can't get it off your mind, because it's also a sign that, like, hey, you're not taking care of your body's needs. You know, you were blocking yourself off from something that you really, really wanted. We got, I won't hold back loving you, babe. Yeah, this is kind of more your energy than the other person. I have a feeling you guys are just, maybe you fantasize about this person, and maybe there's a lot of romantic, like, projection onto this person simply because you just haven't gotten laid in a while. I mean, like, really laid. Like, you need to maybe find another person, or, like, again, if this is a situationship, go for it. But, like, I'm not feeling this pile has the potential for, like, long-term commitment. Like, that's not what this connection's about. With love comes acceptance. I will always accept you as you are. Yeah, there is a lack of acceptance of your own sexuality and connecting to your youth. Maybe you guys didn't get to explore things about yourself when you were younger. Maybe you were traumatized or some way. Why do we do this? Why don't you love me forever? Yeah, I think you guys are really projecting too much weight on this romantic partnership to be like, I want to be partners. I want to be partners. Be like, go do your horny things and then leave. Okay? That's not the purpose of this connection, okay? It's like literally just being like, "Oh my gosh, like you're so stuck on the love thing and the connection that it's like you're not focused on the fact that you're using your second head to to deal with this connection, okay? And that is spiritual. All right? It's spiritually based. Like it's okay to be attracted to somebody, guys, but like it's not okay to be like forcing people into a relationship. All right? And I think like, if you maybe were a little more honest with yourself saying, "Hey, listen, I'm here for that cake. Sure, let's have a good time, but be a little more detached from it." I think you'd be a little happier. Okay, not trying to hold this person to a standard you can't hold yourself. You know what I mean? Because I feel like some of you guys are projecting a little bit onto this person, like, well, you know, they just want to sleep around, and I'm not that person. And it's like, well, yeah, but like, also, you're a human being with needs, and I think it's a little prude of you to kind of assume that because you're not sleeping with anybody or you're trying to preserve yourself, when you are clearly not following through with what your body desires, like, come on. You know what I mean? We're not in high school, guys. We're not in high school. Quit with the purity culture stuff. Anyways, though, that was your reading. Now moving on to pile number 3. What's behind door number 3? Oh, this is the spiritual one. Oh, there's always one. All right, so we've got like the Two of Swords. We've got through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world and love. Unconditional love, self-love, oneness, passion, affection, attraction. This is so cute. Okay. Like, I think the reality... Oh god, I'm like giggling like a schoolgirl. Oh gosh, guys. Shucks. So the energy that's coming through for you guys, group number 3, pile number 3, is I feel like you just love somebody. I think that's the reality of it. And I don't really think it matters what the other person's going through. I think just enjoy being in love with this person. With this Two of Swords, there's almost like a decision that you're trying to make, but I feel like you're in the position of learning to surrender to all outcomes. And I think like as long as you get to love this person in however form it comes, I think that's what's going to make you happiest. It says through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect. That was kind of giving me this energy of like, just meditate on this situation. I think like the higher you allow your vibration to be, by just not staying trapped within a connection, to just not like pleasure seek, but really sit there and just like feel love authentically, like the true type of love, not touched by anything else. Just exist in that frequency and enjoy it. You're there for the ride, okay? And I feel like some of you guys are in this state of just letting go and manifesting this because like you're trying to manifest love in your life. And I feel like you already know it's there. And I don't think there's any separation from it. And I think you're just releasing all of the trauma and the baggage, maybe of this relationship with this person, maybe stuff going on in your past. But love is at the center of this connection. Okay, true unconditional love. We've got the self-love, the oneness, passion, affection. Like, to me, this is just very, very... I don't want to say a loving connection because a lot of what I'm pulling is your energy, and I think that's what's more important than the reality of the situation. Maybe you guys need to sit in that a little bit more frequently, and then I think it's going to start manifesting around you, to kind of just remind yourself that it's within reach. Because like, again, like with this person with the blindfolds, I think you're still in resistance to accepting what that looks like no matter what, I think you're going to be happy with the results of what goes on in this connection. You know what I mean? I feel like you weren't sure how this reading was going to go. And there's something about like this Two of Swords decision making thing. Like, you get to ultimately decide what your life is going to look like. But that's not going to stop love from that you have for this person. And I think you're afraid of losing the love you have for this person as opposed to the connection itself. And I think it's good that you observe that, because losing yourself in a connection isn't good at all. And the way that love is the focus of everything, I feel like you're trying to control it a little bit, or maybe you're just releasing that control, or maybe you're realizing that you're controlling love, or trying to, or have been, when really it's about that surrender and being like, okay, I don't know why I saw something about like the Empire State Building. Maybe you like to travel, or maybe there's like a job that you're moving towards, that, you know, your partner can't go with you, and you're going to need to step up and do what needs to be done without them, and that's going to be really, really difficult for you. And I feel like there's just something tricky that's going to come your way, and that's where that decision making is going to happen, where you're going to be like, what is my truth? Where are my boundaries? What am I healing? What am I here to do? And you're going to still love this person throughout everything, throughout all your cycles, throughout all the ups and downs. Okay? So just focus on the love you have for this other person rather than what's actually going on in the reality. Because I feel like this reading is timeless, and I feel like, you know, there's going to be times where you're going to sit there and you're going to watch this reading and go, I didn't want this to happen. I specifically said, no, this crossed my boundaries, or no, this isn't what I wanted. This is my truth, and this is the way the world works. And then this little voice inside you is going to be like, but I still love them anyway. And that's why this is your pile group 3, is because that I'm still going to love them anyway is going to repeat over and over and over again like a mantra inside of your soul. And that's going to teach you a lot about who you are. It's nothing to do with them, and it's everything to do with you and the loving, amazing person that you are, and the amount of compassion you have, and your strength and fortitude. Because as your heart's saying, like, it doesn't matter what happens externally. You love them. That's it. That's the end of the story. And I think that's going to count for something eventually for you. I don't know. It's almost like, you know, you guys are still learning to figure yourself out, or maybe this is, like I said, I'm almost seeing you continuing coming back to this place over and over again, over again. And I think maybe your connection with this person reminds you that true love exists. Even if you don't see it in the form you want to, it's going to always remind you that, yeah, love does exist. And it doesn't need to force itself. It doesn't need to commit. It doesn't need to pretend. It just exists the way it is. And it's perfect exactly the way it is. Anyways, guys, regardless of what pile you picked, thank you so much for stopping by. Please check out the link below if you are interested in booking a reading with me. And like and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content. I appreciate you guys' time and energy for watching this reading, especially because this was a little longer. And I will see you all next time. Peace out, guys.